Is this thing on? Hello? How do I know if I can hear myself? Can everybody hear me? Hello? Okay. So I don't hear myself. You guys only hear me. Got it. I was sitting here waiting for 7:30. I finally figured out how to get this thing scheduled, and I said, okay, 7:30 seems a reasonable shot. And then, so I'm looking at the screen, but it doesn't go live. It just says live and done. So I click done, and I'm waiting to see, okay, it's 7:31. So obviously it doesn't start up by itself. You know what I mean? I have to click go live. Anyways, I'll get the hang of it. Never done this before in 5 years. I really don't know what I'm doing. So that's good. It's loud and clear. I got this microphone here. I've been playing with the camera, right? I got it kind of about this high so that you at least get the good shot of me in there. You can see all my handsomeness and everything. I had it up on top of my screen, and then I was like, well, then it's coming down from a height on an angle. That's good. Lots of comments in here already. How are you supposed to keep up with all these comments? This is good, actually. For the first time I've ever done it. Be patient with me anyway as I find my bearings. I don't even know how long I'll stay on. I just said to myself, it's about time that I just kind of get your feet wet. You know what I mean? Like you just got to kind of get up enough courage to do it. I don't know, back in the summer, we got a different internet here at the house. So I haven't done this, really reluctantly not doing it, because our internet was giving me like 5 Mbps, something like that. So I'm like, I bet you it wouldn't even work well. But now I got the Bell Fibe. It's like a fiber speed. So we're good to go. I think our speed is, magandang umaga from the Philippines. That comment stood out. This is good. California's here. Southwest Arkansas is here. Michigan. The Claw Crew, Lady J Claw Crew's in the cat house there. I got Olive here, though. Olive, where are you? Come here. She's right here. She's too short. She's too short. Actually, she just got groomed. See? She just got groomed by the professional groomer today. Okay, move. She's very interested to know who the heck I'm talking to, right? She was just lying down on her bed over there, because this is like my office, my computer and everything. So she always hangs out with me here every time I'm editing, because I edit like 2 times a week at least. So she hears me talking to people, and then there's nobody else in here. So she's probably wondering what's going on. There's people from all over the world. Yeah, she is the sweetest dog ever. What happens if I click on somebody's name? I've watched other people's live streams, and I see they have all these things that pop up. I've seen some people have their name pop up, and some people can click and they get like one of the commenters' comments pop up on the bottom of the screen. And I mean, how do you even do that? Yeah, I did put the super slow-mo on because I'm like, I guess you have to do it in slow-mo. Interesting. I didn't actually prepare anything to talk about, and I actually didn't even expect this many people to participate, because I mean, I have no idea what to expect. You know what I mean? It's not like I planned this out 3 days in advance. I just kind of said, oh, maybe tonight's the night I'm going to do it. I usually watch the Toronto Maple Leaf hockey games on Saturday night, but to be frank, anybody who's a hockey fan, they've been so disappointing lately. So I'm like, I can probably just not watch one and go live for the first time. So if I click on somebody, nothing happens. Okay. Oh, I can put a user in timeout if they're being bad. Okay. That's good to know if somebody's being naughty. Michigan here. Hi, Chad and Olive. Our clock crew is in bed with us. Yeah, our clock. You know, I don't even think I could have a cat living inside my house with me because of my allergies. And I'm an asthmatic. You know what I mean? Like I suffered from asthma all through my childhood, and it turned out that you get those scratch tests. I had a scratch test on my arm, and it turns out that my main allergies were short-haired cats, not long-haired cats. Short-haired cats was my number one allergy, and then it's like grass, pollen, molds, and dust, and all these other things that you're allergic to. And I was always on puffer inhalers and stuff like that, but I feel like I don't know, 30 years went by and it wasn't a problem. And now that I'm kind of getting a little bit older, my breathing seemed to be a problem. So I hit the doctors. I hadn't been to the doctor in almost 10 years. That was, I visited the doctor at the beginning of December, and I asked the girl at the desk, when was the last time I was here? And they said 2016. And I'm like, oh man, time just flies by. But I'm really not like a sick man, like I'm a strong, healthy kind of guy. I don't have any ailments. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I don't do anything dangerous to get me injured. I've never really broken any major bones. I broke my collarbone when I was a kid, fell off the top of one of those old metal slides at the park. Other than that, I've been like good. So I never had any reason to go to the doctor. I don't go to the doctor if I have a cold or sniffles or something like that. I just drink some whiskey and it kind of goes away. Yeah, how do you get comments liked? Somebody says, how do you get comments like? How? And again, be patient with me. I don't know what I'm doing really. I do know what I'm doing, but I mean it all happens so fast. Somebody says, "Hey Chad, I can't stick around for very long, but Merry Christmas to you too." I don't even know everybody's names. I just know the little at, that YouTube gives you. Like Zipped Up Kits. I know Zipped Up Kits' name is Holly because she's always sending me emails. But I don't oh, she just said, I don't think he saw super thanks. There's a super thanks? How do you check that? Oh. Okay, I see. Zipped Up Kits, $4.99. Merry Christmas. Get all of a yummy bone. Okay, thanks so much, Zipped Up Kits. Holly, right? If I remember right, Holly is the name. There's no way I'll be able to remember everybody's names. There's thousands and thousands. Thank you very much, Zipped Up Kits. That's very cool. Okay, so if I click, okay, there's a button here called fan funding, super chats, super stickers. Got it. Now, how do I get back to the chat? It's stuck on Zipped Up Kits super chat. How do I get back? Top chat, live chat. Okay. Jeez Louise. Do you guys participate in lots of other channels' live streams? Are they as goofy as I am, or is it just because really it's my first time? There's some people from Ontario in here, Collingwood, San Francisco. I've been to San Francisco. Went to the Chinatown. We went to the wharf ate seafood. My wife loves seafood. So everywhere we go, it's always a seafood. I'm always on a seafood diet. I just see food and I eat it because I love food so much. How are the pigs' hooves doing after their trim? Horse hearts. They're doing terrific. I mean, Billy seems to be moving around. She's in a good mood. Bobby, he's always in a good mood with the tail wagging and whatnot. How can you get somebody's comment up on the stream? Is that possible? Somebody says, who's the figure next to your tractor mug? This guy? You don't know who that is? That's Mr. Bean. Mr. Bean. This is from the Mr. Bean cartoon, but he used to have a TV show. I keep all sorts of stuff. I'm like one of those collector type guys. I got stuff since I was a kid. I still have my comics. I still have all my G.I. Joes and Transformers and stuff like that. All my Star Wars figures. I don't have them in the package, though. Do you remember that movie, 40-Year-Old Virgin, where he kept all the stuff in the package? I was the guy to play with it all, so I never kept anything. Everybody's saying Merry Christmas, of course. Merry Christmas to everybody, too. Oh, I thought Pee Wee Herman. No, it's not Pee Wee Herman. That's Mr. Bean and Teddy. Any plans to get more cats? I love your cats. I don't know. I don't think I have any immediate plans to get more cats. But we just took in Sushi last January, so she's almost a year on the farm, and that just happened through Instagram. So, I mean, maybe I'm not going to actively look for new cats, I think, because we have 8 cats. That's enough mouths to feed as it is. But I think if there was a right situation that maybe somebody needed help or there was a cat that needed rescuing, I think I'd be open to it, but I think only in those very specific dire situations, like I don't particularly want to end up with dozens and dozens of cats, although it would probably be really cool. But just think about how I have to manage everything on the farm and manage the cats. Can you imagine, like at the end of the day, I'm calling back 20 cats? How would that even work? Are you Vintage Style by Joe says, are you going to do a live stream schedule? I don't know. That's actually a good question. I haven't put much thought into it. I guess there are some channels that do schedules. I think probably to answer the question is more than likely I would have a schedule and develop some kind of a thing, but I wanted to see how much I would enjoy it as well as how much you guys would enjoy it, because honestly, I don't know the feedback from you guys. If you like talking to me on this kind of way, but that's basically for the first few live streams. I probably won't have a schedule. I'll just try to give a few hours notice maybe, but I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos from all of there's a bunch of YouTube channels that kind of teach you how to do YouTube. And believe me, it's a lot easier to do it in person than it is to think that you're going to do, like talking in front of the camera is so awkward, really awkward. It took me like 200 videos to get comfortable talking to the camera. And now I'm talking to this camera, to you guys, and I feel like I'm still a little bit awkward, but I think we'll get there. And if this is going to become a successful thing and lots of people are enjoying it and the channel's continuing to progress, building a YouTube channel is really hard work. So I'm thinking like maybe this is some kind of a way to kickstart the channel growth even more in 2026. So I've been talking to my wife like, oh, maybe I should do it. So I went on Amazon and I've been looking for kind of a good type camera to use. So this is a decent camera, I think. It's called a face cam 4K. Don Luger. Hi, Don. I was talking to Don through the Facebook Messenger the other day. Oh, Jackson PU 7 good God GD. Nah, you're fine, Chad. These live streams are great for Q&As. Yeah. But yeah, so back to what I was saying, I've been watching these videos on how to do it, and there is ways to, oh, whoa, Thomas Winter, $20. Your Monday and Thursday videos make my day. That's awesome, Thomas. Thanks so much. I appreciate that. Okay, so look at this. It actually allows me to heart that tip. I guess it's like a tip. Those super chats are tips, right? Thank you. That's awesome, actually. I guess that's a benefit of doing live streams, right? Which I've never taken anybody up on that. Somebody says, how many people think that Chad looks like Garth Brooks? You know what? I'll tell you something about the Garth Brooks thing, okay? For my entire life, nobody's ever told me, I've never heard anybody anyway, saying I look like Garth Brooks. But since I've been on YouTube, loads and loads of people think I look like Garth Brooks. It's kind of a funny thing now. Oh, B Drive, watching from Barrie. We never miss an upload. B Drive. Barrie is like, I don't know, 30 minutes from our farm. It's like our farm is situated in the Horseshoe Valley area. And I don't know, I guess Aurelia is a bigger town. That's maybe 10 minutes away from the farm. But Barrie is another big town. And they're maybe 35 minutes away. So I go to Barrie all the time. I go to their Home Depot and they have a Princess Auto hardware store there. Actually, I was just at Princess Auto today because I've been looking. I know somebody in the comments was asking me, what are my plans for next year? But my immediate plans, I'm trying to figure out how to build 2 huge doors. You know, if somebody watched, was it the last video or 2 videos ago where I fixed the front wood of that lean-to shed and I hung some tarps there. The tarps are okay. They're working out great, actually. But, you know, I want to obviously protect my investment by locking it up. I don't want it to be easily stolen and whatnot. So how do you build giant barn doors that are on hinges? So I've been looking at, okay, what you need these massive type hinges. So I think I got an idea for it. And so I was at Princess Auto and Home Depot in Barrie today, and I bought a bunch of stuff to make these doors. And I don't know when I'm going to do it because it was nasty, windy weather today. And Elliot N2870 $4.99. Thank you so much. Hello from Elliot and Kelly in California. Give Dexter Morgan a big hug. I will. And you know what? Elliot and Kelly, Dexter Morgan wants hugs. You know, I know a lot of people like Fozzie Bear. Fozzie Bear doesn't really want hugs. Fozzie Bear wants pets. You know what I mean? Fozzie Bear is the kind of cat that'll rub his body into your feet. Same with Chunk. But if you pick up Fozzie Bear or if you pick up Chunk and you kind of go like that, they're good for about 20, 30 seconds. And then they're like wiggling to get loose. But Dexter Morgan, he'll jump up on me and he'll just squish his body into my armpits like this. And I just kind of sit there, and I sit there like a good amount of time, as long as my allergies can take. Wow, we got pounds coming in. Pounds from the UK. Schneecat. Thank you, Schneecat. That's terrific. Tammy317, 10 bones. Thank you, Tammy. That's awesome. I'm trying to like them as they show up on the feed here. Chad, this is Lady J. Chad, live stream from the cat house would be awesome. I think I can do that, Lady J. I mean, I think from what I've been learning in my research, you can do a live stream using the 5G data network. I'm sure that would use a ton of data, though. That's probably not ideal. But I don't have internet in the cat house. There's internet in the farmhouse, but it does not reach the cat house. So I need to get myself one of those, those little extender things for the Wi-Fi. And I do have electricity in that little shed that's in between the cat house and the farmhouse. So I'm thinking if that can reach, then maybe I can get internet. And if I can't, then there's got to be a way to just do a live stream from the cat house using the data on your phone. It's just something I got to do. It would be cool because all the cats are right there. And I'm sure there's a way for me to focus the camera on me, but also flip the phone, because I got myself one of these new orange iPhones and it's really, really nice. I'm sure it'll do it really well. And the cat house, because it used to be my workshop, so I hung all these nice LED lights in there and I just left them in there. But what I did is I turned them off so they're not all on, but you could easily get good lighting in there to do a live stream for sure. So at the immediate, I would expect that, yeah, I can do that at some point. Villia Roundabout says, why don't you put up slider doors? So I've thought about the slider doors, and the slider doors would be a lot easier because you don't have to worry about the hinges. But the problem is there's nowhere for the doors to slide. You get what I mean? So you got the thing. So I would have to make it a double door so that one goes in behind the other, but you'd never be able to completely open the space. You'd have to it'll almost be like closet doors, those closet doors that just go behind and then that side's open. And then if you want to get into this side, you have to slide that one. It's not that it can't be done. I just prefer, I think, because I'm moving equipment in and out of there, I would want both doors open at the same time, which you can't do with slider doors. If that makes sense, Garth Brooks is from my hometown of Yukon, Oklahoma. That's what Zipped Up Kit says. Okay. Garth Brooks is not really that famous in Canada. Country music is famous in Canada for sure. But yeah, I mean, even myself, I'm not a Garth Brooks fan. I know who he is. He's well known. Just because I know, like, I'm into pop culture and movies and music and all that kind of stuff. So I'm aware, but I wouldn't even be able to name you a title of one of his songs. You know what I mean? Not in the same way I could name you like one of Neil Young's songs or the Rolling Stones or Aerosmith or one of those guys. I could name some of their songs. Carpe Omnia after 60 says hello in real time from Annette. Oh, so Carpe Omnia after 60 is Annette from Central Frozen, Alberta. So you guys got a lot of snow up there too? Our snow has been unbelievable, but the past, when was it? Tuesday, Wednesday, it was warm. It was like 8 degrees up here. Sorry, I don't have the Fahrenheit for the Americans. 8 degrees is probably like 40 something Fahrenheit. So it's not it was a lot of snow melted. It was tough to get the vehicle into the farm because the snow in the driveway all turns to mush. Anyways, we had a lot of snow and then some of it melted. Just trying to follow along with the comments the best I can here. I don't really like either that I'm looking at my computer, which is the screen is right here of my computer, but the little comment section is right here, which means my focus is right there, but the camera's right here. And I don't have any way to put the camera directly where the comments are, so that as I'm looking at the comments, I'm kind of looking at the camera. But I guess that's normal for live streams. Like, it's not, you don't have to be staring into the camera the whole time, right? Don Luger's asking if I like Motorhead. You know what? I do like rock and roll, and I grew up really with the 70s and the 80s and the 90s. But I never got into Motorhead, to be honest. I don't even know any of the members. I don't know any of their music at all. If you were to play me a Motorhead song, I wouldn't know it. And that's the truth. Kate Phoenix says, Dexter is so handsome. I love that kitty. You know what? There's just something about the black cats. It's like, I don't know. It's like when I look at him sometimes in the wrong light, you can hardly even see the features. All you see is this void, this blackness, like a shadow. But if you look at him in the right light and you see his coat is glistening and you can see all his facial, and he's got a little tiny patch of white right underneath. And he is a very handsome cat. But mind you, they're all good-looking cats in their own way, you know? Like, I mean, Chunk is a really good-looking cat too. Chunk, of all of our cats, he has the smoothest coat. I mean, to touch. It feels like a bunny rabbit's fur, you know what I mean? So somebody says, give Bubbles a hug. I'd love to give Bubbles a hug. I've been working so hard with this cat for like 2 years. Bubbles is not, I don't know, she's not trusting me to the point that I can pet her easily. I don't know, a video or two ago, I was playing with her with that feather toy, and I put the feather toy up on my boots, and she kind of jumped right on my boots. And I was like, yeah, she's little by little, she's getting a little bit more confidence that I'm not gonna, hurt her. But she's so hard, Bubbles. Bubbles belongs right here, okay? I don't know how many of you folks have been watching since my early days on the farm, when we didn't really have anything on the farm, but we had Molly, the old English sheepdog, and we just got Stormy, the barn cat. Stormy was a really small cat. She was probably maybe a little bit bigger than Bubbles, maybe roughly the same size too. It's hard to know for sure. But she used to sit up here, and that was, I don't know, just a cool thing. It's my wife. She just poked in. Are you going to say hi? You can't just come into my live stream and then play with the dog. You got to stick your head in here and say, hi, guys.
Okay, let's go. Let's go. Ali, come here.
She's way more shy than I am. Right here.
Hi, guys. Okay, let's go.
See, they all say, look, it says, Izzy on the move. It says, hi, Remy. Hi, Remy.
Hi.
They're all saying hi.
Hi.
See, Olive knows now we're together and we're huggy. Olive wants to be huggy too.
Okay, I gotta go. Bye.
I used to get a lot of comments in the early videos, and people would say things like, I don't even believe that you have a wife, because you never saw Remy, or maybe once every 20 videos or something. But she's a tough nut to crack, my wife. She is very shy. I am shy too, to be perfectly frank. I am shy. I'm not a great public speaker. All through my schooling, it was just, I wasn't great at it. I wasn't confident. I wanted to know what I'm talking about before I did. And she has that same kind of mannerism where she's zipped up. Kit says Stormy was gorgeous. Yeah. What a bummer losing her. But Stormy was the parrot cat, she sat up here. I have videos of her where I practically filmed the whole video, and she didn't leave my shoulder, this cat. But I learned a lot from Stormy. You know, I when I say that, I sometimes in the comments I say Stormy is the reason how I became really a cat lover. I had always considered myself a dog guy. You know what I mean? I was always dogs. Cats, I was allergic to them. I didn't really. I never had it. I did have a cat though. I did have a cat when I was a young kid, like maybe 6 or 7 years old, and its name was Spooky, and we were living in an apartment in Toronto at the time, and my parents told me he fell off the 7th floor balcony. He survived fine, but I think my allergies started to get developed at that time, and then so they got rid of him or gave him away or found a new home for him. But yeah, so after we got Stormy, she turned me into a cat guy. Sometimes I refer to Stormy and Molly specifically that they turned me into a better man. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I feel like I became more empathetic just in life in general because of those two specifically, but also all the animals, you know, they all serve a purpose in teaching me about life. MK1134 says, "Sup, Chad? What's up? What's up? How is the coyote situation going?" That's what's that name? I've seen this before. Waleska Quintana. How's the coyote situation going? The coyote situation is ongoing, to be frank. All the animals are protected. I'm reasonably confident that the coyote can't get to any of our animals. So, because we're not living on the farm directly, it's not like I can have, like, you know, how some farms have like dogs that live outside 24/7, guard dogs. I don't even see how I could do that at our farm. Our farm is kind of segregated into 3 different patches. So even if at some point in the future I was to get some kind of a guard dog for the animals, it would have to be more than one guard dog because I would need one in each section. And I think it would be odd to fence in a certain area and then leave it open with a gate, and the dog can't go through the gate. But every time I wanted to drive through, I would have to stop and open the gate. And I don't know. I didn't want to go that route. Not yet, anyway. Because obviously, it's like the dogs would be alone for a lot of the time, you know, because we're not there. One Matt 2005 US. Thanks so much, one Matt. You know how much $5 is in Canada? It's a lot. The Canadian dollar, I think, is worth it's not even 70 cents. So it is what it is. 15 years ago, the Canadian US dollar was on par. It was equal. Wild Texas Bun says, I just got a chicken house and chickens because of your channel. Are ducks next? Wild Texas Buns. I tell you, the first animal we got on the farm were ducks. And the only reason why I got ducks is because I saw an ad for baby ducklings at the time. I was like, I don't know what to do on this farm. What am I going to do? And then I'm like, so I scroll through Kijiji. Here in Canada, we have Kijiji. And it's, if I can compare, it's something similar to Craigslist in the United States, where it's just, it's like a classified section, like the old newspaper classifieds. And I saw this ad for ducklings, khaki Campbell ducklings, I was told. They were all brown. So I think we started with 7, 8, or 9. I can't even remember. It was 5 years ago. But yeah, ducks. I personally enjoy the ducks more than the chickens. Now, I enjoy chicken meat better than duck meat, and I enjoy chicken eggs better than duck eggs. I can eat them though. My wife prepares duck and she prepares duck eggs. It's not that I can't eat them. I'm just saying I prefer. But the ducks are by far easier to take care of. One of the first things I notice about the ducks is that they always stick together. So I've been training them, Tulugana ducks, right? You guys seen me do it. Sometimes the ducks just go in on their own when they hear that. I don't even have to say it anymore, really, because they've been trained. But chickens don't do that. If I have to get the chicken, like let's say, for example, I have to leave, let's say it's, I don't know, 5:00 and I got to go home for dinner. So I got to get all the animals away before I go, protected for the night. And the chickens are the hardest, I find, because when you got a group of chickens there and you start trying to herd the chickens, they all just like scatter. It's like they don't want to go in, but they also don't want to stick together. They don't want to be herded easily. The turkeys, the geese, they're easy. The turkeys, I just go on one side and I walk, and I'm filming it usually with my phone, right? Like I'm like this when I'm filming the turkeys. Come on, guys, time to go to bed. And then it's relatively easy. But the ducks, it's very easy because as soon as one or two ducks start going, they all start to go. So I find that anybody that does not enjoy ducks or has a negative experience with ducks, it's because they didn't have the right setup. And I think that's really, really a big deal when it comes to ducks, because you just have to accept in your life that ducks need an area to get nasty, right? There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Ducks need an area to get nasty. They need like a 10-foot splash radius. So I built them that inside their run. They don't make the inside of the house wet and nasty because there's no food and water out there. And of course, whenever it's non-snow months, they're out in the orchard. I don't even pay attention to them all day long. When I'm working on the farm and the ducks and the geese are in the orchard free ranging, I literally do not pay attention to the ducks unless I'm filming, because the geese are like alarm systems. And if there's a fox or if there's hawks or something, a squirrel, the geese go nuts. And then it gets my attention and I go running up there. Nice and easy. Somebody says, where are the kitties? What do you mean, where are the kitties? The kitties are in the cat house. I don't have any kitties in with me right now. Eventually, I'll do live stream in the cat house, and that will be epic.
I want to say Merry Christmas.
Oh, my wife's back. That's why Olive's going nuts.
I want to say Merry Christmas to you all. That's it. Okay, bye.
Merry Christmas, she says. Nettie Santos says, you're doing great, Chad. I'm so glad you gave it a go like you usually do. You just figured it out. Yeah, I figured it out. I think a lot of it is confidence. And I think if I was to develop like a live stream schedule, which I have no idea how often I would even have time to really do it. It's winter now, so it's a lot easier. I'm not spending those long days at the farm building stuff. And so so far, to be honest, I'm enjoying it. And one of the things that YouTube has done for me in my own personal life is turned me into the guy that never shuts up, if I can make a joke of it, like through my whole life, I've always been the guy to kind of sit in the corner, and there'd be like a party going on or something. And we didn't have phones back then. And I would just be not talking to anybody, very shy, very standoffish. And that was I was like a late bloomer, I guess you can say. But YouTube, because I guess I'm talking to the camera too much, it's turned me into this guy that doesn't shut up. Like I really talk too much. And it's really evident to me when we have guests at the farm stay that come from YouTube, because I really, really give them a lot of my time. I book time specially to tour them around the farm because I think it's absolutely incredible that I can start a YouTube channel and I can make friends online. I don't know any of you guys. You guys kind of know me, I guess, from watching, but I don't know any of you guys, right? So it's almost like this is a way. Whoops, sorry, something just popped up. Heather, 1999. Merry Christmas, Chad and Remy. Merry Christmas to you too, Heather. Thank you so much. That's so cool. Yeah, that is very cool. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So when people come and stay at the farm, I get to know them. Somebody who's watching the farm channel for like, I don't know, 2 or 3 years. And then I get to know them as I'm touring them around and we chit chat. And I'd like to think that, those people really appreciate that I spent a lot of time, because Airbnb hosts don't do that. Most Airbnb hosts don't do that. And I try to treat the farm stay business as like, I don't know, an opportunity to gain new customers all the time too, and repeat customers. We have, Ronetta, $5. How come I can't like that one? Oh, I don't know what to do there. Thank you so much, Ronetta. I'm trying to figure out how I can put a heart on it, but it's not letting me. But I will keep it up. Yeah, keeping it up. Again, I forgot what I was saying again. Losing track. Pickle Zero, your farm is now my farm too. Oh, that's so nice. Thank you so much, Pickle Zero. That's a funny name, Pickle Zero. Yeah, it's always interesting when you're looking on YouTube, like all the different names that people come up with. Sometimes it's just a generic name like Chad Smith 4629, but sometimes people get creative, like, I don't know, it's just funny. It's fun. Don Luger, Chad, do you two live and sleep in a trailer? No, Don, I'm in my house right now. I'm in the basement. You can, if I tilt the camera, you see there that little window? That's the basement window, because I turned this dungeon into my office space when I started YouTube, and I was doing on my MacBook laptop in the kitchen. Like, it was just, I couldn't do any voiceovers with the microphone because my wife was always like doing something. And then I don't know, I'm like a quality type. I'm always concerned about the quality of the videos. So I really practice not making extra noise and holding the camera very steady. I've gotten, I think, some pretty good skills of holding the camera steady. I see some videos where it's bouncing all over the place and it gives me a headache. The one thing I do need to improve is when you're filming something and then, like you pan over and it leaves this blur, and there's people have mentioned it to me that it makes them feel dizzy. And I guess this is a thing. I'm not the kind of guy that feels dizzy for that, but it's something that I need to become more aware of when I'm editing these videos, because I can easily edit that section out, but I just wasn't mindful of it. And that's the kind of feedback that, will help me overall make better content too, right? Scatterbrain says, I don't usually join live streaming, but I wanted to support you. Also, I followed you on Facebook. That's great. That's terrific. I never know who's going to be interested in a live or not, and I've just been kind of hemming and hawing about it. Finally, I'm doing it. Today's the day. Where does it tell me how many people are in here? 390 people. 390 people. That's a lot of people watching. Hopefully I'm doing okay. I'm not making a fool out of myself. Waleska Quintana, happy holidays and a safe new year 2026. You too. You too. I'm hoping for big things in 2026. 2026 is going to be my 6th year doing this YouTube thing. And boy, oh boy, it's like not easy. Glenn Hatchie, 5 Canadian dollars, my friend. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Anything that anybody gives, that's like, it's not expected, but it's always nice to see when a tip comes in like that, because, you know, it's like, could go for animal feed, or, you know, I got somebody in the comments constantly asking me, when am I going to get goats? And I'm like, I'll probably get goats. Like, it's on my master list in my head of all the vision that I have from my farm. But I also have to manage my time. I can't spend 4 hours a day doing farm chores. You know what I mean? Like, I got things to do. Wow, what's this? $49.99 from, I don't know, El Cal Front Seat. El Cal Front Seat. Am I saying that right? $50. US bucks too. That's really nice. Really kind of you. I thank you so much. That's so cool. I feel like blessed, you know what I mean? Like appreciative that you guys support me so much, to be frank. When you start a YouTube channel, that's Vintage Style by Joe again. Our family really enjoy your videos. Thank you, Chad. Thank you for watching. I'm pretty sure Vintage Style by Joe has been watching for many years now, too, as a lot of you have, mind you. But I can't remember. I can't keep track. Sue9252 says, I'm amazed at your solo carpentry skills. Yeah. You know what was my first project ever in my life? It was our first house that we bought in 1997. We were married in 95, and we lived in some trashy apartment in downtown Toronto. And then we saved a lot of money because of that. We sacrificed. We bought our first house, and the front entrance of the house was like green astroturf carpet inside the house. It was like a 70-year-old house. And I ripped that up, and we didn't have a car back then. So I rode my mountain bike with the 2 baskets on the back, you know, those 2 friggin' baskets. And I rode up to the Home Depot on O'Connor, which is like maybe 10 kilometers away. And I bought slate tiles. And I bought myself a whole bunch of Home Depot Fix-It books. They had a whole set of books on that time. Actually, they're right over there. I can't get it right now. But anyways, I have them still. And they had one for, like, you know, framing. They had one for electrical. They had one for flooring and all sorts of different categories of renovation. So I bought this book, and I was watching HGTV, Home and Garden Television, up here in Canada on, you know, how to do stuff. And I ripped up this flooring, and I installed these slate tiles on the inside of the front entrance of this house. And that was my very first project ever. Everything that you see me do on the farm, fixing wise, not just carpentry, I do all sorts of other stuff too. Gardening, and I don't know. I'm just like a naturally creative guy, and I have basic skills. Dirty Cat Steve, 5 bones. Thanks, Dirty Cat Steve. Dirty Cat Steve. You guys and your names. Classic. Annie Brown, $10. Your personality makes the show. Monday and Thursdays are my favorite TV days because of you. Thank you, Annie Brown. I've been seeing Annie Brown watching a bunch of the old videos, and then she'll comment also on the old videos. Commenting helps a lot. Or I guess it's thought that it helps a lot, because you got to tell this YouTube algorithm that people are interested in the video. So when there's a video put out and people are clicking on the video right away, and they like the video with pushing the like button, and I think there's something new now called hype the video, and they put a comment and or they share it, all of that contributes supposedly that the algorithm will showcase your videos. This is what's so hard about YouTube, because just when you think you kind of like, okay, I think I'm doing okay. Okay, I got, like, me personally, I feel like I have at least 10, 12 videos that I made that, I don't know, they could have gone viral. I've seen an awful lot of garbage videos on YouTube go viral. And when I say go viral, I just mean they get a lot of views. See, I'm talking too much, so I get thirsty. Cheryl says, hiya, Chad, your first live. Yes! I got my first live under my belt, and there's 424 people here. Can you believe that? I mean, I'm impressed. So now I was talking to Don Luger a little while ago, and I got distracted. Don Luger, I can't find the comment, but he asked if we were living in a trailer. So no, Don, we live in our house. Our house is not on the farm property. The farm property that we bought 5 years ago when we started building this farm has this 110-year-old farmhouse. And it's kind of nice. It's quaint, but I don't want to live in a 110-year-old house. I'm not saying to disrespect anybody that is living in an older house, but that house kind of needs to be torn down, in my opinion, if I was to live there. It's like I can't even really go to the basement, because the basement is like I got to crouch down or I hit my noggin. You know what I mean? There's no insulation in the house, so I don't know. It's nice to stay in for a couple of weeks. My wife and I had stayed there plenty of times. But I've bought and sold like 5 houses in my life since we've been married. So I'm the kind of guy that, buys the fixer-upper house and then fixes it up himself and then sells it. I wasn't a house flipper. I was doing it even before house flipping became a thing. But it was a really, really good way to make money. You know what I mean? You buy a house for $300K, you live in it for a while. Here in Canada, I don't know how it is in the rest of the world, but here in Canada, your primary residence, when you sell it, you don't pay tax. So if you live in it for more than a year, whatever equity you've gained in the house and whatever improvements you've made. Leona, $10. Thanks so much. Your channel supplies some of the happiest times ever. That's so awesome. Leona's been one of the longest viewers as well. Hi, Leona. Thank you so much for watching all this time, eh? So yeah, it's a good way to make money. I'm not a real estate investor or anything like that. We bought a house. It needed a lot of work. You fix it up. You sell it for a boatload more than what you bought it for, and you don't pay tax on it. Here in Canada, you get killed with the taxes. So if you can do that, so we've done that like 4 times. Cheryl, $13.99 Canadian dollars too. So Cheryl's Canadian. That's awesome. Lots of Canadians in here tonight too. We're up to 432 people right now. Right on, guys. Right on. Linda Smith, 20 bones. US bones. She says, happy first live stream. Merry Christmas to you and your darling Remy. I don't know if you saw Remy poked in earlier. She's on the treadmill right now, because we got a treadmill in the basement, because, you got to stay fit. I was staying relatively fit before YouTube, but YouTube kind of takes over your life. I can tell you frankly, YouTube takes over your life. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but I have put on a few pounds since starting YouTube, and that's from buying too much Tim Hortons, on the road, because I'm always go to the farm, go home, go to work, go to do this, go back to the farm, put the animals away, get the animals out, driving over here. So life will be a little bit easier once we finally build our house on the farm. So back to Don Luger's question. No, we don't live on a trailer. We live in a house that's roughly 20 minutes away from the farm. So our goal, I guess, Don, is to sell this house that I'm in right now and then build another house at the farm. But I would like to keep that Century farmhouse, though, as like a rental and to continue running that as a business. So I think that's my ultimate goal. That would be ideal, I think. But the housing market's really not good right now. There's so many houses that are available for sale. So somebody says, the hen house says, in the US, you do pay tax over a certain amount when you sell a house. So it's not like that here in Canada, or at least here in Ontario, Canada, as long as it's your primary residence. So if I was, let's say you own 3 properties and you want to sell one of your properties, then you have to pay capital gains. And it's like a huge amount of money. So I don't do that. What we've done over the years is sell a house and then live in it while we're fixing it. And sometimes that it was like hellish. Like I've torn down all the drywall in houses and re-put up the drywall and stuff. Never anything major structurally, though, because I always looked for projects that I can handle myself. I never wanted to have to get permits for things. So it was always only cosmetic stuff. If you start redoing the electrical or redoing structure in your house, now you have to get permits and you have to hire like proper contractors for that. I always did cosmetic stuff like tiles, drywall, putting in like new lighting or something like that, painting everything nice. I put crown molding in a bunch of times. Our most recent house that we sold in Whitby, we were living in Whitby for 14 years, that house. And I took all the carpet off the stairs and I sanded all the stairs down and I installed all these little trim moldings around in like a little design on each riser. And it looked like really nice. I stained it all a dark color. I built a newel post, and that really practiced my carpentry skills doing that project. Don Luger says, my name's Dutch, pronounce Luger. Is it Luger, or do you not pronounce the J like lure, or is it Luger? Anyways, so that's the thing about that, Don. Can you imagine the content that I would have once we're actually ready to build the house at the farm? I'm not going to build the house by myself, mind you, because that's a huge, like if I was to attempt to build a house for myself, that would be the only thing I'd be doing for how many years? You wouldn't be able to work for a living doing that. You'd be building your house for that long. Zipped up kits. Holly says, set up an Amazon wish list and set it to public. That way we can get stuff you need for the kitties. There have been suggestions. Sing us a song, Garth. Come on, Glenn. I can't see. I don't know any Garth Brooks songs. I do have a couple of songs that I can sing, like not well, but like reasonably well, because I'll tell you, the first time I visited the Philippines was in 1999. Okay, this is my first visit. I'm meeting my wife's family for the first time. In the Philippines, karaoke is bigger than anywhere else in the world. And karaoke is like a Japanese thing, but the Philippines has taken it over. And like everybody has karaoke in their house. It's not like this big elaborate setup. It's like this little tiny box with a couple microphones that has 5,000 songs. Anyways, long story short, they pressure me, they're like, They're like, sing this. Okay, it's your turn, Chad. It's your turn. And then I'm like, okay, what do I do? Like, you're in the moment. I've never sung a song in my life. I'm a Canadian guy from the city. I don't know anything about singing songs. And then then they have this big book. You open up this book, and it's like this thick, and it has all the songs with the numbers. You got to program the number for what song you want. So I don't know. I wasted a lot of time, flipping through the books. I can't find a song that I like, and I just kind of did one of those. So I'm like, oh. But there have been a couple of songs I can sing. I was singing the Eagles' Hotel California. I was doing that reasonably okay, like, where my wife's family, Remy, they were all clapping when I was done. So at least I'm like, okay, I wasn't that bad then. Cat Paw Clan, hello from Texas. Hello. I don't know, maybe got like a real sore throat. Oh, I don't know, 4 years ago. And I got kind of sick. And I don't know, my voice hasn't been the same since. But what I can tell you about singing specifically, as from a non-professional singer, somebody who just does it, I don't know, like a few times a year if I have to at a party or something like that. Singing is, you have to keep doing it. You can't not do it for like 6 months and then all of a sudden try to sing. You can't do that. It ruins your throat, and it's like, and you start choking, and you get sore. And I don't know how many people have ever tried to do that, but if I am, let's say, okay, put it this way. If I wanted to take a trip to the Philippines with my wife, I know that her family is going to pressure me to sing. And I don't want to be the loser who doesn't try to sing, right? I'm always trying to impress her family, right? So I practice leading up to the visit to the Philippines, if that makes sense. I'm sure I'm missing some people here. Deborah P. $5. Thanks so much. Chad, I've heard you sing Maggie by Roslyn. Your voice is very good. Yeah, I've done that. Wake up, Maggie, yeah. But it's like, I don't even know the second line in that song. I love that song, but I'd have to look up the lyrics. So I try to cheat when I'm making my YouTube videos, and I usually don't show myself singing. I usually focus the camera facing away, but you guys know it's me. But anyways, Zipped Up Kits. The slow chat is driving me nuts. I gotta wait an entire minute. Okay, if I didn't do that, what would happen? Would the chat just be going, and I wouldn't be able to read anything? I think that's what would happen. Somebody says, somebody named Deanie. I guess it's Deanie or Din. Anyways, hello, good morning. It's from, it says Sri Lanka. I'm sure they mean Sri Lanka. So I guess it's morning over there. It's night for us. It's like 8:30 now. We've been on for an hour. That's pretty good. Go IU says, hey, Chad, I had an old English sheepdog growing up. Our barn cats would snuggle up with him when he was cold outside. Yeah, that's what they do. They're such a gentle breed. Well, thanks for watching. They are a gentle breed. I actually have a video when we had just Molly and Stormy the barn cat and Smokey the barn cat, and I titled the video, Old English Sheepdog is a great mother to the barn cats. I think that's the title. And I just focused on the majority of that video was the relationship between our Old English Sheepdog Molly and these two barn cats. Of course, now all three of those animals, we've lost them on the farm. They're RIP. Somebody, Pallady, says, I love the slow chat. I can read it. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it happens so fast. Like, so I don't know. You just got to be patient. Sorry. Maggie May rubbing on Olive is so sweet. Yeah. Lalia. It is so sweet. I like focusing the camera on it. Sometimes a little too long, probably. You know, Maggie is a very beautiful cat, and she has like every color in her. I think that's just cool. Oh, somebody, I don't even know that name. 5T3VO333, Hidden Spring Farm. What happened to Chewy? So let me tell you this quick story about Chewy, okay? Chewy and Bubbles, I could not get them to the vet. They were loose and free inside my workshop, and I used a fishing net to get these cats into the cat cage to take them to the vet. And that was the worst mistake I ever made in my life. So again, long story short, I moved them into the barn, into one little room that I have in the barn, and I spent an entire winter sitting with them, training them, trying to make them trust me again, feeding them from my hand, playing with them, doing all that kind of stuff that you would do to try to make a cat trust you. And Chewy was just doing so well. He was meowing at me. He was coming up to me. He was rubbing his body in my feet. I can pet him. So I let him out of the room. And he was now free on the farm. He wasn't being locked up with the other cats, but I had the intention within like about a week, I was going to say, okay, I'm going to put him back in with the other cats. He's kind of tamed enough. And then I don't know how many days went by and he disappeared. So I did do a whole video about it. I'm pretty sure it's called We Lost a Friend on the Farm. It always sucks when you have to do those kind of videos. But I don't know. You feel like a responsibility to notify your viewers. So that's kind of, he was a beautiful tiger stripe too. Chewy kind of looked like his sister Tango, but he had very pronounced black tiger stripes. It's really sad. Jimmy's 91. Is there anything you miss most from living in the big city? No. There is absolutely nothing that I miss about living in the big city. And one of the reasons for that is that like I can go to the big city anytime I want because we're not that far away. There are so many homestead / small farm YouTube channels that live somewhere in the middle of nowhere. And that maybe they're doing that by choice. Maybe they're doing that because the property was cheap. I don't know. But I don't live in the middle of nowhere. We live 10 minutes from a city of 30,000 people, and we live 35 minutes from a city of 150,000 people. And we're about an hour and 45 minutes from Toronto. So Toronto's the big city that I'm from. And I still have my doctor there. I still have my dentist there because I like them so much. I'm not going to switch unless they retire or something like that. My dad still lives in Toronto. My youngest brother lives just on the edge of Toronto. So I don't know. I go to Toronto regularly. If I want to go, if I have to go, or if I want to go, I go. But I don't miss anything about the city. I wish that I could have. I mean, of course, I wish I could have afforded it, but I wish I could have realized it about myself, about how much I enjoy the outdoors at a much earlier stage in life. Mind you, I guess when I think about it, even if I did realize that 20 years ago, I didn't have any money to buy a farm. So it's like, even if I realized I wanted to live on a farm, I don't have a farm. I'm from Toronto. So anyways. Preston Trim says, I love your channel, Chad. I came across my feed about a month ago. Watched and subbed right away. Been watched the rest ever since. For your first live, you're knocking the socks off it. Thanks, man. That's cool of you to say. And thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Laura, hi, Chad. We love watching the channel. We love the duck parade. And when we are ready to go to bed, we say to Luke and you know where I came up with the idea to call it a parade? This is, I don't know, a few years ago anyways. We visited New Zealand and Australia. Of course, that's on our bucket list as being Canadians. We wanted to visit the other side of the world. And I think it was called Phillips Island in Australia. I can't remember what province or territory it was, but it was Phillips Island, and we basically sat on these bleachers, right? It was all set up for tourists and conservation, and you sat on these bleachers and the sun's going down. It's like sunset, and all of a sudden, all these little tiny blue penguins start walking out of the ocean, right? The bleachers are right there by the beach, and all of these penguins start waddling out of the ocean just slowly. They just kind of appear there, and they're the smallest penguins in the world. They're only about like that big, and the government, I guess, the conservatory or the conservatorship, anyways, the people who are running this place, up on the hill behind, there's all these little tiny houses that they've constructed them as like little nests, and these penguins would go and live in these houses for a while. And I guess they mated and they had kids there and stuff like that. So, and that was called the Penguin Parade. And anyways, so I kind of stole that from them, and I call it the Duck Parade because I open up the door and all the ducks just kind of parade out. And the ducks are kind of funny because they kind of go in a single file. You know what I mean? They don't. It's not like they're in a group. They're just like a single file, sometimes 2 by 2. And I don't know. I think it's fun. Oh, Aussie Sunshine says Phillip Island in Victoria. Okay, that's the one with the Penguin Parade. Yeah. Thank you for that. You're an Aussie, so you would know. Oh, Pickle Zero says, my mom called it a duck parade when the ducks went from the pen to the pond. That really hits home. That's cool. I thought I invented it. Meanwhile, your mom invented it years ago. Allison Thorne. Hi, Chad. Hello from New Jersey. I'm a longtime viewer. I enjoy your content very much. You are a longtime viewer. Thanks so much for joining us here on my first live, Allison. Very first live. Cindy Leonard says, glad you're doing a live. Olive looks great. Yeah, she just got groomed, so she's like, I'm like, oh, I got my side. Actually, my wife doesn't even have any real family close by. She's got a couple of nieces that are in Kingston area, Trenton area. And she has a sister in California. So she talks to her family mostly on like FaceTime, through Facebook Messenger and stuff like that. So, but my brother is visiting from the UK, him and his wife and his 2 daughters, my 2 nieces. They're my only 2 nieces. They are coming over for Boxing Day. They're going to stay Boxing Day and then stay overnight the next day. So, yeah. Claudia Russo says, my cats are watching. They probably know my voice. Hey, Claudia, if they're probably watching my videos. Kimmy. Is it Kim Mig or Kimmy G? Hi, Chad. So happy to see you on your first live stream. I love your channel from Pennsylvania in the USA. Yeah. I mean, I'm like, it's about time, right? 5 years building up this YouTube channel, and I've never done a live before. And I'm nervous about it. And I'm like, I don't have anything that I want to talk about. I know that some people have like talking points and they try to make it structured. And I mean, we've already been here there is a timer on the screen. It says 1 hour and 14 minutes. And I just figure I'll do it until I want to go to bed or something. Like, I don't know. I don't have any time limit because I've never done one before. And I really want to try to get a feel for it. You know what I mean? And I want to make sure my setup is okay. I got my microphone. I got my camera. I got a little tiny tripod for the camera. The camera is half blocking my screen, but I don't really need to look at myself, right? It's blocking the part of myself. I want to see the list of comments and everybody. Is Bubbles warming up to Trailer Park Boy? Bubbles is in fact named after the Bubbles Trailer Park Boys character. And the reason for that is when Bubbles was a very small kitten, she had these huge googly eyes. And if anybody knows the show, the character Bubbles had glasses with these huge eyes. And I'm like, oh, it's got to be Bubbles. She just reminds me of Bubbles. But I'd like to think that she's warming up to me, but not to the point where she's coming for pets. Not today, but yesterday, I go into the cat house. I got to kind of put my foot in the door because Dexter, Chunk, and Fozzie Bear are right there, like they're ready to come out. And I'm like, oh, guys. So I blocked them to come in, and then I squat down. Sometimes I film that too for you guys. I squat down. And then I got to pet them all. I only have like 2 hands, and Bubbles is right there. Like I'm focused on what I'm doing with the boys, but I can see Bubbles right there. And she's not like away at a distance. Maybe she's about 2 arm lengths. So I can't reach her or anything. But then I'm like, Bubbles, and I try to just let her hear my voice. And I've been doing that for so long. She loves playing with the toys, but I can't play with her with any toys when there's other cats there because the other cats just overtake it. And then Bubbles wants to hit those other cats in the head because Bubbles doesn't take no guff. Bubbles hits her brothers and sisters in the head. The interesting thing, although I know that I say that comically, but the interesting thing about our cats is that I have never, ever, not once seen them fight with the claws out, like Wolverine style. It's only somebody given a swat. And it's more like an annoyance. I just like to think of it as an annoyance. I'm annoyed, like, get out of here. And then they just swat to get them out of the way. Fozzie Bear does it a lot to Chunk. Because, Chunk likes. Heather says, enjoying the live stream. What a great community you have built on YouTube. Thank you. That's so awesome of you to say. You know what, Heather, to be frank, thank you for your tip again. $50 US. Another one. It's interesting about YouTube and community and all this. I don't know if anybody starts a YouTube channel thinking, oh, I want to start a YouTube channel so I can build this community. Right? I think the community is just once you start getting some subscribers and you get some viewers, and it's kind of something that just you come to this realization that, oh, this is a community. It's a serious community. And then I start thinking to myself, that's how to build the channel, is by community. The more people that like me, I guess, and get to know me, and they like my personality, because there are people that don't like me. I can tell you that. I get the comments in the comments. I read the comments. They say, I can't take this guy. He's annoying. I wish his wife would take over. People actually say that. They would never say that to my face, though. It's easy to say those kind of things online, so you have to have a thick skin being some kind of creator or influencer or online persona, because that's just, it's like it comes with the territory, you block some people, Vintage Style by Joe says, Chad, your thumbnail is so funny, because I'm like, okay, I don't have a thumbnail. I didn't make a thumbnail. I didn't even know that I was going to go live tonight until a few hours ago. And I said to my wife, maybe I'll just do it tonight. I've had this camera for like 3 weeks. I bought this camera off Amazon and I set it up and I've been watching videos how to do it because I don't even know how to do it. How do you go live? So there's all these steps you have to take within the YouTube software. And then so I don't know. I've been procrastinating, I think. And so the thumbnail is just kind of me looking into the camera like I don't even know what I'm looking at. You know what I mean? I consider myself a funny guy. My wife is probably my best supporter. She thinks I'm a comedian and she laughs at every single thing I say and do. So I make it my number one goal in life is to always keep my wife in a good mood. You know what I mean? Because I feel good when she's in a good mood. Javier or Javier? Javier says, this is so much fun to see you do a live. Not used to watching you without a coffee in the morning, like spending time with a good friend. You're killing this live. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. I got water. Now, I did have ice in it, but I got water because I don't know. I don't want to have to stop the live to go get a drink, right? I'm trying to be smart. So I used the washroom before this started and I got myself a drink, and that way I'm like, okay, I'm being professional. John Paul Sandoval says, I love your barn cats. Please give Fozzie Bear and Dexter some scratches. I will. And I think I will, anyways, try to figure out how to do a live from the cat house. I know that there's a way. I'm not saying that I can't do it. I just have to figure out the internet piece. So far, we've been live right now tonight for 1 hour and 21 minutes. And me personally watching it as I'm doing it and the comments and all that, I haven't noticed any interruptions with the internet at all. So I think the internet is doing good. But if you have a really slow internet or not a very strong connection, it's going to be like an annoying live stream where it's constantly cutting out. And I don't really want to go that route. So I need to figure out the internet access at the cat house. And I'm sure at some point I can do a live stream anywhere on the farm through your phone using the data. But I'm sure that will also get very expensive. I think my data plan gives me 40 gigabytes per month. And you think to yourself, 40 gigabytes is a lot. But by the time you go through your life in a month, it's like you use up those gigabytes. And those cell phone companies are just itching to charge you more money. Here in Canada, we only have 3 companies, I think, for telecoms anyway, so there's not much competition. I'm way, way back on the comments. I like how some of you guys are kind of talking to each other too. Pickle Zero says, I'm having a beer. It's Saturday night. Yeah, I didn't want to have a beer. I wanted to stay focused for the live stream. I'm not a beer drinker, though. I'm not a drinker, period. But there are times where I just have an urge to have a beer. So I always keep a stock of beer. I like drinking. I don't even know if I have a favorite beer. I drink Guinness, the regular draft. And I also like Stella Artois beer. That's really light and nice. Somebody says, where'd you buy your mug? This is a beehive mug. We bought, I'm trying to remember where it is. I think it was the Cookstown Manufacturers Outlet Mall. And this comes with a set of 4 mugs with honey. So it was like a farmer's market kiosk in the middle of this shopping center. And they had little packages of 4 mugs, like that mug. And then in the middle of it was this big, like, natural honey. It was good honey too. I remember it. Glenn Hatchie says, Tulu Gana, everyone. Does that mean you're going to bed, Glenn? It's only 9 o'clock. Yeah, I know, Zipped Up Kits. People say the strangest things. I mean, if the way it is online, I don't know why people just don't scroll on. If you don't like something, or you don't agree with something, or you're disappointed or disgusted or whatever, just scroll on. Why do you have to actually take time to put in, like, a bad comment or a negative comment? Or, to be honest, I've had some really, really strange comments that I just shun them off. Like, I don't like, I've had a comment before from an American, and the comment was, "Oh, I really like your channel and your videos, but as soon as I saw you're Canadian, I had to unsubscribe." And I thought to myself, whether it doesn't matter where you are around the world, why would you just instantly not like the channel because it's a Canadian channel? It's illogical. Some people are just, I don't know, they're like set in their ways. Dara Lynn, you have over 400 people watching. I know, Dara Lynn. We had it up to 431 people. It's at 415 now. It's so cool. It's so cool that you guys are interested enough to want to participate. And like I said, I don't know how long that I'll stay on. I mean, like, how long do people normally stay on live streams? I guess they have something very specific to talk about, whereas I'm just kind of babbling about stuff, just answering some of your questions, right? Wow. Lola just gave $10 US, and she says, our kitty loves your channel. She watches when we do, LOL. Let me tell you something, Lola. I wish I could share it with you guys if there was a way. I don't know if there's a way for me to do it. But anyways, people send me Facebook messages and Instagram messages, specifically those two apps, and they send me little video clips of their pets kind of sitting in front of their big screen TV, watching me and my cats and my animals and stuff. And the cat is just sitting there, or the dog. We've seen lots of sheepdogs watching too. And they're like very attentive. They're literally like, whatever it is I'm doing on the screen, they're watching. Sometimes they're pawing at the screen. And I think that's so cool. It's like everybody, all these pets around the world are getting to know Chad at the Hidden Spring Farm and all the gang. It's just fun, I think. Anyways, thank you for the tip. I really appreciate it. All these tips are going to go a long way. Karen says, hubby and I look forward to your videos. That's cool. Talks with Mama, saying hello to you from San Diego. I love your show. You're awesome. Yes. Thanks for watching. Tony says, you make barn animals attractive. Oh, wait, I lost it. I don't know where it is. Somebody named Scott, something outdoorsman. Do you think about hiring local kid to help with chores? So it's complicated. It's actually a good question, and it's a fair question, and I'm going to answer it as honestly as I can. It's complicated when you're running a business, okay? We run the farm as a business. We have a business number with the government. We're registered. We have to pay the corporate taxes. We have to pay the HST taxes. Now, I don't know how it is all around the world, but here in Ontario, Canada, we have the WSIB, which is like insurance for workers. So you can't just hire a local kid. You have to hire an employee. And in order for you to hire an employee, you have to have a register with the government that you have I don't even know what they call it. It's with the Canada Revenue Agency. There's like a special number that you need for your taxes in order for you to be allowed to have employees. So you need that. And then you're also going to have to pay the pension plan and the unemployment and the WSIB for your employees. So long story short, the minimum wage here is like 17 something, $17 something. And not to say that somebody can afford to live off $17, but all I'm saying is I can't afford to pay somebody, you know what I mean, on that regular kind of pay. And maybe there is a way to just like hire a local teen or something, just like under the table kind of thing. Honestly, in today's day and age, I don't even want to risk it. Not unless it was like my friend's son or something like that, you know? Because liability is such a huge problem. And we don't even have any like huge types of equipment that a teen could die or something like that. We're not running combines and we don't have grain silos that they could die in or anything like that. So I don't think anything would ever happen, but I don't even think I want to go that route. My life is so busy. So, you know what I mean? You'd have to figure out a schedule. I don't know. I feel like that's way too much of a hassle. I could use the help on the farm. I mean, there's always stuff that needs to get done. And I don't know if you guys know this or not, but when you're a creator on a farm who's trying to make videos of his farm, you're trying not to show the same thing every day. You're trying to keep it like some kind of a story, you know, a different type of story. And that's not always easy in the winter because there's nothing much going on. You know what I mean? Like I'm dealing with rats right now. We're dealing with snow. Sometimes we get hammered with snow and then it's a nice chance to do like a snow removal type video, or I still do sawmill and stuff like that. But I don't know, trying to come up with video topics while you're just doing the same farm chores every day, right? Because you can feed the chickens and feed the ducks and do all the animals. And I know that you guys like that stuff too. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying if I had a kid doing some of those jobs, then I won't be able to do content on it unless he's part of the content, so to speak. Melly says 1 to 3 hours is the average for streamers I watch. Okay, usually an hour. Sue says usually an hour. Oh, Bev Fox Cat Trail says 40 Celsius here on the East Coast, Oz. Down in Australia, they are melting, people, while we are freezing. That's so interesting. And I've told you, I visited the Philippines many times in my life, and the Philippines heat is almost unbearable. So KP Nove 25, thanks for the $5 tip. Good on you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I don't know your names. I just see what's on your handle here. So it says, good job, good job. So I appreciate it. Pickle Zero says, usually an hour is good. Leave more for later? Yeah, I could leave more for later. I could always come up with more stuff to talk about, though. Like my mouse is practically stuck. How do I get it unstuck? Oh, Heather says, that's awesome. My cat, he watches also. So when he hears Chad's voice, Heather's cat comes watching also. That's so funny. Somebody's in here from Chile. Madeline Coleman from Chile. Hi, Madeline. Madeline from Chile. Too many people live on the internet like being anonymous. Yeah, that's true. Lalia, that's true. Lalia? Lalia? I don't know. I like to figure out pronunciations. I was like, all through high school, I studied French right up until grade 13. Here in my years in high school, we had grade 13. So high school went all the way up to grade 12. And then grade 13 was the OAC, which is like those courses you needed really good grades in order to get into a good university, you know? So, but it was just grade 13 basically. And I was really good in French. Like I could have a conversation with somebody, no problem. But let me tell you, once I met my wife and I started learning a little bit of Tagalog, the Filipino language, and the Filipino language is kind of based a little bit on like Spanish, maybe a little bit on like Malay. I kind of lost my French. You know what I mean? Like maybe if I was to live in France for like a long time, maybe it would slowly come back to me, but I feel like, I don't know, I lost the French. I can speak much more fluent in Tagalog. I can say, marunong ako ang Tagalog. And I do it a little bit of English Tagalog. You know what I mean? I can tell my wife, gutom ako, ano pinakain natin? You know, that kind of means I'm so hungry. What are we going to eat? I can say little things in Tagalog too, like tayo na, which means let's go, or tulog na, it's time to go to bed. So I like languages, is what I was saying. So when I see people's names, I feel a little bit shy in a live stream. Anyways, that's how I feel, that maybe I'm mispronouncing somebody's name. Because you never know how to pronounce things, really. Crazy World Occupant says, how bizarre somebody unsubscribe. Yeah, because exactly. I don't know. But you know what? Crazy World Occupant. Yeah, it is a crazy world, and you're an occupant. You know what's even more bizarre to me is that you actually took the time to put that comment in that video. So you saw, oh my God, the guy's from Canada. I got to get out of here. So get out of there then. But they actually took the time to put the comment in there. Like, why? I don't know. It's like they just want to make trouble, those kind of people. Joanna Jorgensen Normandy. Hopefully I got that right. Jorgensen. What's that? Like Norway or Swedish? Finnish? Your voice makes me smile, she says. Thank you. That's a nice thing to say, actually. Glundine says, whoa, live stream. Let's go. Old school. Yeah, my cats were watching your videos the other day. Horsehand 666. You don't want to give it all up on the first date. No, we're already at third base. Oh, somebody, Rosie McCann says, do you speak French with a Quebec accent? I kind of felt like maybe I had like a proper French accent. Scott Zimmerman says, you'll be able to edit this after 24 hours. It's going to post your video thread for time purposes. Think of the viewer or how much you'll cut out to edit. Yeah, so like all the time that I'm just basically sitting here looking through the chat, maybe somebody doesn't need to watch all that, is what you're saying. You can kind of edit that piece out. I'll have to figure that out too. Just another thing to do. Add it on my list. Alyssa Chestnut says, what's your favorite singer and group, Chad? That's such a hard one to answer, to be honest. Because I'm a lover of all sorts of kinds of music. To actually come up with a favorite. If I was to actually say my number one, like I've thought about this a lot, to be honest, because I like music. I like movies. I'm a movie guy. I love movies. I think I have maybe 1,000 DVDs still. I have Blu-rays and DVDs, and I do have access to some streaming like Netflix and Disney and all that, but it's not the same. I like having, I own it. I want it. Netflix can remove my favorite movie at any time and then I can't watch it. So if I have it, anyways, I think if I was to narrow down my number one favorite song of all time I think I would say the Rolling Stones, Sympathy for the Devil, you know? And I wouldn't say that Rolling Stones are my favorite band. I like the Eagles. I think the Eagles got to be up in the top there for my favorite bands or groups. I was also into rap a lot because in my teen years, rap had just started become the big thing. Beastie Boys were in and Run DMC was coming up. And it was like, I don't know, it wasn't gangster back then though, you know what I mean? But I kind of grew out of that. I like listening to, if I got the rate, like in my John Deere tractor when I'm driving around the farm, there's a radio in there, and I always have Big 101 playing. Big 101 is a Barrie radio station, and they play music from like the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Those 3 decades, I feel like those are the best decades for music. And maybe some Beatle lovers will argue because they're just before really the 70s, right? And the Beatles have some really nice music too, but I don't know. I don't think I could narrow down a favorite singer. Who's my favorite singer? I think I need more time. We'll save that one for the second live stream. Okay, Alyssa? I'll think on that for the next live stream. Who's my favorite singer of all time? Or at least narrow it down. Is he on the move? Yeah, it is nice to learn some Tagalog because my wife is from the Philippines and I embraced her culture. And I don't know, I love everything about the Filipino culture now. Probably the best thing I like and enjoy about, oh, wait, Cat Lady 68, 1999, and my cats love your cats. Thanks for the tip, Cat Lady. I'm a cat man. You're a cat lady. Anna Piazza, 1209, 1999. The money just keeps rolling in. This is so cool. How do I see the total? I'll let you guys know on a post maybe. How do I close that now? I got to figure this out for the next chat so I'm faster. Yeah, so is he on the move? Yeah, I like to learn some Tagalog. I've embraced the Filipino culture as well. And one of my favorite things about the Filipino culture is how family oriented they are. So I don't know, my family, I have my mom's passed away. My father has remarried and he spends a lot of time with the new family. And then I have another brother. He is in just on the west side of Toronto. He works at the airport. And I have my second brother is working in the UK. I don't know when was the last time I physically spoke to them. You know what I mean? It's been so long. And I'm just telling you honestly. And we chat in the text quite a lot, but we don't FaceTime and we don't Facebook Messenger. And so we don't talk in person. Anyways, my wife talks to her family like literally every day. Either she's phoning them or somebody's phoning her. And I mean, that's just a small, tiny little example. But let me tell you how her family welcomed me into the family. Top notch. Never would have expected anybody to welcome me as their own brother into their own family, as their own son. My wife's mom just became my mom. We used to call her Nay. The word for mother in Tagalog is inay, but just for short, it's like Nay. So I used to call her Nay because she's my mom. Anyway, she passed away too. I miss her a lot. She taught me an awful lot about the Filipino culture. I'm practically like, I'm in with the Filipino, let me tell you. Marunong ako ang Tagalog. I can even do a little bit of the Filipino accent. Tayo na. Somebody in here is talking about Don Cherry and Ron McLean. Yeah, that's such a weird thing. That's such a weird thing that happened with Don Cherry. Don Cherry is getting old now, too. I mean, if you think about that whole firing of Don Cherry and trying to cancel him, which I don't even think they were successful in canceling Don Cherry because he's like an icon. But I just think, wasn't Don Cherry like on the road to retirement anyway? Like, why did CBC have to do all that? Or whoever did it? I think Rogers bought into that too. Anyways, it's disappointing. Ron McLean was just disappointing, right? But what can you do? Annie Brown, $9.99. This is worth an extra $9.99. You are so much fun to listen to. What's your favorite TV show? Annie Brown's asking me, what's my favorite TV show? Now, you mean what's on TV right now, like today, or any TV show that's ever been on? That's a hard question, too. I think one of the greatest TV shows I've ever watched was Game of Thrones. And I'm the kind of movie watcher that likes those period pieces. I like all those historical movies, and I like the settings and the way they talk and the way they fight with swords and stuff like that. That's my thing. But I liked, TV shows. I used to like shows, like comedy type shows. I liked the Tim Allen Show, which was, what was that called? Home Improvement. I like that show. That's long time been off the air, but that was one of my favorite shows. I watched Breaking Bad all the way through. I watched Dexter. How many of you guys watched Dexter, the TV show Dexter? That's our black cat, Dexter Morgan. He's named after the character Dexter. That's where I got the whole idea for that from. So he's the Bay Harbor mouse butcher. You know what other show that I really liked, though, was the whole Yellowstone series. And I'm talking everything to do with Yellowstone, because there's been a bunch of spin-off shows about it. And I think it's really well done. I like them. It's great storylines. Keeps me attentive and interested, and I can't wait for the next season. So that's, like one of a recent show that I really enjoyed. If that helps answer your question. I don't have a lot of time for TV anymore, though, Annie, because YouTube really takes over your life. And I'm not saying that really in a negative way. I just mean like, okay, it's Saturday night and I can't do anything else because I chose tonight to do a live stream. Mind you guys can't do anything else either because you're participating in the live stream too. Wow, we've been on the air for 1 hour and 48 minutes now. It's past 9. Okay. Is it anybody's bedtime yet? Oh, Cat Lady says my daughter takes Benadryl before she comes to visit because of the cats. Yeah. I try to stay away from the meds as much as possible, Cat Lady, because it's not like I'm just visiting and then I'm going to be with the cats once. Like, I'm with the cats every day. So I would be like overdosing on Benadryl. So I try to snuggle up the cats like this and then take them away and then, try to like adjust my body, try to get my body to adapt. I don't know if it's working or not, to be honest, but I love the cats. Somebody named Annie is asking, Chad, can you travel? Who takes care of the animals? So yes, we can travel. We have traveled since we've had the farm. You guys just don't know about it. I'm not telling anybody when the farm's vacant, but our neighbor takes care of everything. So We have a really good relationship with the neighbor. I always refer to the neighbor as Phil. That's the son. The mom is Leslie, and he has a brother also. And they keep the horses in our field, and they actually lease the 40 acres of hay. So if I want to go away for 2 days or for 2 weeks, I talk to Phil and I say, I'm going away. Are you guys going to watch the farm for me? And I always offer to pay them. They always decline because I allow them to keep the horses in our field for the whole summer and I don't charge them. So it's like a trade-off. Oh, somebody just gave $5. Xander Novak. Thanks, man. That's a nice tip from Xander. Xander Novak. Chad from Toronto. Okay, Xander, you're from Toronto. That's cool. I'm from Toronto. I was born in East York General Hospital, and I lived the first 18 years of my life on Havenbrook Boulevard, which is at Don Mills and Shepherd. And I do like Rush. Yeah. Pert and Geddy Lee. Sure. They have at least, I have a couple of their CDs still, but they have at least, I don't know, 4 or 5 songs that stick with me. Like everybody likes Tom Sawyer. I like that one. But yeah, I mean, I think in my early years of my life, whenever I heard Rush, I thought it was a girl singing because I didn't know anything about the band. And then you start learning a little bit that's Geddy Lee, and that's just the way he sounds. Oh, I think I missed somebody here. Wait, $4.99 from Shelly Wallet. Thanks, Shelly. Appreciate you. Sometimes they're putting a big, like, I don't know if you guys see. I guess you would see it. There's like an icon, but I can't like those super chats. I can't. It just, let's celebrate their first super on a live stream. I don't know what to do there. I don't know what to do to put a heart on it if that means anything to. But thank you, Shelly. I really appreciate it. I appreciate everything from everybody tonight. Going through all these questions, and how many questions have I missed? There's probably a lot. Sorry about that. Don Luger, favorite concert. How many times have you asked about the favorite concert tonight, Don? Did I say Luger again? Luger. Sorry, Don. Luger. I'll get it. I'll remember. Favorite concert. Let me tell you something, Don. Man to man. I've never attended a concert in my life. The reason why I've never attended a concert in my life is because I can't stand people. And I mean like crowds and noise. And I don't have any OCD or disability type thing about it. I can do it if I choose. I just choose not to. Yeah, so that's the truth. Somebody says, watching Landsman, Rosie McCann. You know what? I've been seeing Landman coming up on my TikTok feed, and it looks really interesting. I think that's on Paramount. So I don't have all the different streaming things, like you spend a fortune for all these different streamings. So yeah, I feel like at some point I'm interested in watching Landman because I really like the way Billy Bob Thornton acts in that show. He's kind of like rude, but kind of in a cool way. You know what I mean? Scott Zimmerman says, you can schedule it 24 hours in advance and it'll give subscribers a notification. Yeah. I'll probably, Scott, I'll probably come up with some kind of a schedule if I'm going to decide that this is something, yes, I'm going to go all in and do a live stream like on a regular basis. What the regular basis looks like, I don't know. But yeah. But I can tell you, frankly, right now live, that I kind of enjoy it. Like I was a little bit apprehensive. I was a little bit nervous. I'm like, I don't know what to say. Am I going to look like a goof? is my lighting not going to be any good? And so, you think about all these things, and I just got up enough courage to be like, just do it, man. Who cares? If it sucks, it sucks. But I'm enjoying it. It's not bad. And I mean, the fact that I've been here for almost 2 hours now, maybe that tells you that I'm enjoying it too, right? Because I'm like, I want to talk to you guys. It's so cool. Pickle Zero says Breaking Bad. Yeah, Breaking Bad was a really good show. Really good show. I love me some Heisenberg. Claudia Russo says, sorry, Chad, my cat Sophia Loren fell asleep, but Angelina Jolie is still watching. Okay, that's good to know. Oh, man. Somebody just gave $100. 100 bones. Mystic Gypsy, 311. I can't thank you enough, actually. $100 is a lot and very, very generous. I think Heather also gave a lot tonight. Probably a few others gave a lot. Big fans here in Texas. They say Mystic. I don't even know if it's a man or a woman. Merry Christmas to you and your darling and your beloved Hidden Spring Farm critters. Thank you so much. There's a heart. I appreciate it. You're awesome. Very awesome. Let me ask you this question. Scott Zimmerman was just asking about, you can schedule a live. And so how often do you think you should go live? I think that's a good question. I mean, you can say, well, you go live whenever you want. And maybe it's not even a question of how often you want the schedule to be. Maybe it's just a question of doing a combination of both, Maybe it's okay, maybe I can do one once a month, maybe at like the beginning or the end of the month or something. But then I can also throw in live streams whenever I want. But it also has to go with my schedule, right? Like, so if I wanted to do a live stream in the cat house, let's say, I don't want to be doing that like tonight where it's 9:00 at night. I don't want to get eaten by the coyotes. So I would be doing a live stream from the cat house during the daytime at some point. And then, I mean, maybe some people wouldn't be able to participate in that live because maybe they're busy or at work or something like that. But if I did give notice, then people can be maybe a little bit more prepared. Tonight, I'm impressed with you viewers that so many people joined in. I honestly didn't expect 300 and 400 people to join in on a very first live stream that wasn't even planned. Like, you guys didn't even know about it. Lots of people here are giving the thumbs up to Mystic Gypsy for that $100 tip. Yeah, that's a good tip. Somebody says once a month. Yeah, once a month or twice a month, somebody else. That way you don't give up life. Yeah, Javier says that way you don't give up. That's the thing. You got to try to find a happy medium. Yeah. What's that? Flim227 says, do you have a favorite hobby? I don't know if I have a favorite hobby. If you were to ask me, what's my most favorite thing to do ever? It's probably to do nothing. And maybe that sounds like Joey Tribbiani on Friends a little bit. But doing nothing but having the TV on, I think I like. You know what I mean? Watching movies, I love it. I don't even think that I've ever fallen asleep in a movie before because I really enjoy being taken away to that atmosphere of whatever I'm watching, which I guess is very similar to you viewers watching any other YouTube channels that you watch. You just get, for that period of time that you're watching, you get taken away. So anyways, I don't know if I have a favorite hobby. I like being outside. I've learned this about myself since being at the farm. I like using the equipment, right? Oh, I like being a man and running up that chainsaw and cutting wood and stuff like that. I don't know if that's my favorite though. That's why that's why I feel like I want to build a cabin. You know, I've talked about it on the channel on and off the past, I don't know, little while. Anyway, I've been talking about it. I got the sawmill going to make these 6x6s, and I'm going to make this entire cabin out of 6x6s. The reason for that is if you want to build a cabin any size, really, big or small, you have to, it's much better if you have approximately the same size logs. They don't have to be exactly the same size, but approximately the same size. So you need to have all the same species of logs to make it look reasonably good. And you need to have the skills to learn how to scribe the logs to get them to fit. And I feel like I don't want to do that for my very first cabin. And we don't really have that kind of availability of wood. So that's why I'm making 6x6s. A 6x6 is probably like that. And I feel like if it's a 16-foot long 6x6 wood, I can pick it up. So just for ease of building the thing, like you got to figure how you're going to build the cabin. The first on the bottom is probably easy, but as you get up to the top, it's like you're going to need a way to pick these things up. Kate Phoenix, I saw the upcoming live thing on your channel and I got so excited. I'm glad you worked up the courage to do it. It's been fun. Thank you, Kate. That's true. I mean, you kind of got to just do it. And I mean, now I feel like, okay, I've done it. I feel like it's not a big deal. Like I'm looking into the camera, I'm feeling strong and confident. And I don't know, I feel like I probably shouldn't have worried about it, but I pride myself in being a fairly honest dude too. Like I try to keep everything as real as possible, not just for your benefit, but for my benefit, because that's who I am. Carpentry is probably not my favorite hobby, Rosie. I know you're still talking about hobbies. I wouldn't say carpentry. I don't know. Favorite hobby is just, it's a tough thing to narrow down for me because I have such a wide variety of enjoyments. I feel like I need to build a bench and just sit out there in the orchard watching the ducks. That would be a really good hobby. I just haven't got the time to build a bench yet. I will. I will. Somebody who's saying, what's that? Camimar? Favorite movies? Again, favorite movies is like, what's your favorite movie? Can you narrow it down? What's your absolute favorite movie of all time? I think my number one most favorite movie of all time is probably Raiders of the Lost Ark. The very first Indiana Jones movie. Oh man, I love that movie. I can watch that many times. Never get tired of that movie. Everybody wanted to be Indiana Jones back then. Of course, Star Wars was a thing back when I was a kid. I was born in 1976. So that's when Star Wars came out. So all us kids, I was a little bit too young when the first Star Wars came out, but by the time Empire Strikes Back came out, I was right into the Star Wars. I still am. I enjoy them a lot, actually. I also like non-series movies. Also, you know what movie I really like, which is a series, is the John Wick movies. With Keanu Reeves. The first one all the way, and they just did a fourth one, I think, last year. Those are so cool to watch. Oh, the fight scenes and the choreography and everything. But I also like a lot of the Marvel movies, the comic book based movies. I like those too because I grew up with all those comic books. You know what I mean? Like I know all the characters, and the fact that they can make those movies look so amazing now with the computer generation, it's so awesome. I have so many favorite movies. Die Hard is another favorite movie. Jeez. You know what other movie I really like? If you're talking like comedies, if you break it down into categories, maybe for comedies, I like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I like that's John Candy and Steve Martin. And man, that movie is just so good, so funny. Mary Miles says, nothing can be good for mental health. Yes, nothing is good for mental health. Don says, how's the roof ice melting working? It's working really well from what I can see so far, Don. I can see the little zigzag pattern. It's all melted and there's no ice building up. Scott Zimmerman says, what about an end of the month farm report summary and things you have planned? Yeah, that's actually a good idea, Scott. So I'm going to consider that as an option. Oh, Nettie Santos says, me and the pooches are going to sleep. 5 a.m. comes quick. Okay, Nettie. Night, night. 9:30. Izzy on the move. I second the idea of how you met. Okay, we'll save that for the next one. Millie says, I graduated in 76. Okay. Lalia says, horror, drama, sci-fi, action. You know what? I like all genres of movies except horror. I don't own any horror movies of all the 1,000 DVDs that I have. I don't watch horror movies. I don't like them. And I don't know. I don't find them enjoyable. I like thrillers. I like being excited. I like being thrilled. I like mysteries that you don't really know what's going to happen. I like dramas too. But if you were to say what's my favorite genre of movie, I would say like action adventure is my favorite. Yeah, I was like growing up, I was like a big, Stallone, Schwarzenegger, Van Damme, Steven Seagal, Bruce Willis, Chuck Norris. I was like one of those guys watching all those actors' movies all the time. Sandy Doty says, my favorite movie was Ben-Hur. I assume you're talking about the very first original Ben-Hur, not the new one that they made a few years ago. They're making too many remakes these days. But I remember watching Ben-Hur with my dad, and I remember watching the 10 Commandments, right? Charlton Heston was my father well, I shouldn't say was, he's still alive. My father is, I guess, a big Charlton Heston fan. So we just watched it together. I was never a huge fan of those type of movies because my generation, when I was like younger and getting into movies, that's when the special effects was slowly coming popular, like the Star Wars and, those kind of action adventure type sci-fi, like Aliens. Remember when Aliens came out? Oh man, that was so cool. I remember Ripley in that big robotic machine in Aliens 2 fighting the aliens. Remember that? It was just like, that's so, Ben-Hur is like, when you watch Ben-Hur back now, it just looks so primitive. So I think that has to be your generation for that to be your favorite. And that's okay. It's perfectly okay. Bev Fox Cat Trail says, Chad, maybe consider a pair of alpacas for the orchard come springtime? Probably not springtime, Bev Fox, because springtime's in 4 months. I won't be ready for a couple of alpaca in 4 months. Where do you even get alpacas? I've seen loads of people have alpacas. I feel like I'm not ready for that yet. Where would they live? I got to have a place for them to live, right? They need access to water. Do they need electricity? Like, so I have much more research to do about that. What is the requirement? I want to get bees, and I don't even know if I can get bees this year. You know, we're trying to still financially recover from that ice storm that we had last year, because that ice storm cost me $18,000. So basically, not to complain about money in the live, but that all the money that I had earned from YouTube just went to that. I've been earning money on YouTube for like how many years? And it's like the whole thing is gone. Just paying that 18 grand one shot out of your bank account. I'm like, okay, I need more time to build up that bank account before I do anything else. But I'd really like to have bees. I feel like bees would be not, I wouldn't say easy, but maybe the least amount of work. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's the most amount of work and I'm completely wrong. Sue says, okay, Chad, I got to go. It's been great. Merry Christmas. If you're still here, Sue, Merry Christmas to you too. Thanks for joining us tonight. Don says, Chad, ever thought about playing guitar? Yes, Don, I have thought about playing guitar. I don't know how to play the guitar. I want to learn how to play the guitar, maybe in my retirement. I would like to play the guitar. Yeah, like an acoustic guitar. My wife and I have had conversations about it, and she just laughs and says, when the heck are you ever going to have time to learn how to play a guitar? You're crazy. And I'm like, I'll figure out a way. I always figure out a way to make things happen. Yeah, that ice storm was awesome. Debbie Marie says that ice storm it was brutal. Honeybees would be a great fit for the farm. Yeah. Somebody says, you get alpacas from the alpaca store. Yeah. Yeah. Preston Trim. It's tough to keep up with all the comments. If there's any comments that I don't answer, like what do creators do in that case? Do they just drop it and then just wait for the next live stream that people you can just ask it again? It's not like I can get to everything, I guess. Ace Prestige says, hey Chad, curious what you did for work before transitioning to the farm. You seem knowledgeable about everything, and I've heard you used to live in the city. So here's the deal. Here's the thing about being on YouTube. And of course, I expect these kind of questions. I really don't want to be rude to anybody. I like to give people as honest answer as possible. But that being said, when you put your entire life online in YouTube or on the internet, it usually doesn't go over well in some way or another. So I've kind of decided that I just gonna put the farm life in YouTube. And I know tonight is a live stream. I've been talking a little bit about personal stuff, but nothing that really you don't need to know. You know what I mean? But I don't know. Figuring out like there's people in the comments of the videos that have asked me before, what do I do for a living? And I'm like, do I want to tell people what I do for a living? And maybe people are going to track down what company I work for. And maybe, there are people out there, believe it or not, that cause trouble. And I'm definitely not saying that any of you guys are going to be causing trouble. I'm just simply saying that it happens. I've been watching creators and they've made decisions to pull their kids off of their channel and not show their kids on the channel anymore because their kids were being stalked at their school. You know what I mean? Because once you know what city you live in, okay, somebody can easily just search, okay, well, there's only 3 schools in that city. So I don't know. I just feel like there's just has to be some kind of a boundary for stuff that's just too personal versus stuff that's not personal enough that it can do any damage in my personal life. You know what I mean? So take that for what it is. I'm not trying to be facetious or disingenuine. I'm just simply saying I don't think I want to talk about it. Somebody says sing for us. What am I gonna sing? I'm not singing at 9. It's almost 10 o'clock at night. Gotta go to bed. Somebody says stay private. Yeah, I mean, there's just certain things, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. There's certain things like if I was to tell you guys what year I was born, like that's not personal information that could ever, you know, like remember remember like something can happen on in real life and then somebody posts a video about it and then a bunch of people commented on that video and then other people comment on the comments and somehow contact the employer of that person that they said some bad comments about that other video and then the people get terminated from their job because it's like we're in this cancel type culture. So it's tough. I'm just simply saying personal life, we got to keep it personal, you know. Farm life, farm life. I'll tell you stuff like what movies I like, and you don't need to know how much I weigh. You don't need to know how old my wife is. That's a question that we get. How old is Remy? I'm like, you don't need to. You never ask a woman her age. Who's asking those questions? But you try not to be rude about it. But I am very cognizant and very aware that if you let too much personal information out there, it can come back and haunt you. Somebody, what's that? RD Hikers. Go with the bees and place the hive in your garden. It would enhance the production. See, that's a good question. Like if you had bees, do you put them in the garden? I don't know anything about bees. I don't I have no idea if in the garden itself is appropriate place to have the bees. Like Wild Texas Buns. Tuluga now, Chad. Thanks for watching Wild Texas Buns. I assume you're talking about bunnies, bunny rabbits when you say buns, not the other kind of buns. Wild Texas Buns. Good night. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you joining us. Yeah, Kate Phoenix. People can be so intrusive. This is just the thing. I mean, I really don't want to pinpoint that somebody's being intrusive. There are, I guess, times that it's intrusive, but I think people just genuinely are curious, you know, and I just think that some folks maybe they just don't know what the repercussions can be down the road for creators. Like there's creators now that have big gates on the front of their properties because people are visiting the property without even notifying them. They just show up at their property. Can you imagine if somebody, I actually have had it happened already. Somebody drove up, it was an Indian husband and wife, and they drove up from Brampton, which is just outside of Toronto, and they just drove in our driveway. And I was working in the tractor, and I pulled the tractor up and I blocked their car so they can't drive any further. Olive was barking all over the place, like I want to lose another dog to a car on the farm. And then, you know, they told me that maybe they want to give me their chickens. The city's giving them a hard time about their chickens. Can you take my chickens? And I basically scolded them that they can't just show up on somebody's property. What are you guys doing? Just because we're on YouTube, you can't do that. You want one of these? You know what I mean? So I'm not even a big time YouTuber yet, really. Like I'm trying to be, but I'm very weary that that could become a problem. There's a lot of people saying good night. So 2 hours and 20 minutes, maybe it's time to say good night. I didn't finish my water though. Look. So I'm still okay. Oh, Wild Texas buns. I used to have a small business and started Wild Texas bunnies. Okay, that's great. Amazing. So Cami Mar says, can't you put in a gate? Yes, we do have a gate. I lock up the property every night. We have cameras, gates. But I was at the farm. You know what I mean? Like you arrive to the farm, you open the gate, you enter, and then I mean, I'm not going to close the gate behind me because I'm there. Maybe it's something that I'll have to think about, but it's not like an automatic gate that you push a button that you can just automatically close it and open it. I have to get out and unlock it and open the gate. But yeah, it's like I don't know. I basically we lost Molly, the old English sheepdog, to an accident on the farm, and I mean I don't like to think of it as my neglect, but we had a guest at the farm, but they weren't leaving that day. It was one of their family was coming to visit, so I wasn't aware that one of their family was coming to visit, and that's how Molly got hit. The whole thing is just a stupid accident. But now, basically, what I do with every single guest at the farm stay is I have them notify me what's going on. Nobody's allowed to come and go at the farm unless I know about it. So far, it's been working okay with Olive. But when somebody just shows up at the farm, I don't know about it, and Olive's barking around the car because now there's a stranger there. Olive is a good guard dog. She's not just the kind of dog that wants to say hi. She's going to bark and bark and bark. Olive basically is like I have to hold Olive and I have to say, come here. And then I make her sit and then I introduce her to the people. And then she's okay after that. I think once she knows that I'm saying it's okay. But if there's the hydro guy for electricity coming to the farm randomly, she's barking like crazy. Oh, I just missed Michelle Ritchie, $20 US. Love how good you are to the animals. Thank you so much, Michelle. Appreciate it. Appreciate you and your support and your watching. This is so cool. Flim. I did build those shelves. I did build the shelves. It's just a little bracket. But I like collecting stuff. And I like random stuff. Like you can't get any more random than like a samurai katana sword and the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. And, you know, like what else do I got there? I got a Wolverine character. I got Snake Eyes from G.I. Joe. I got a bunch of Survivor books here. John Deere tractor. So I just like random stuff. And sometimes I move stuff around. Like I got another shelf over there. It's got mostly books and photo albums and stuff. But yeah, I did build it. I put that wall in. This wall right here, this wood, I stained the wood pieces 3 different colors. But you know where I got the wood? From skids, pallets. And I took apart the pallet and I made myself a wood wall so it kind of looks kind of homey and woody and stuff. Tulugana. Jacqueline says, Tulugana. I'm going to have the whole world saying Tulugana now because of me. Don Luger says, did Molly pass instantly? No, I don't believe Molly passed instantly. It all happened like so quickly. There is a video online about me crying for 15 minutes, but it all happened so quick. And I picked her up and put her in the truck, and I was calling the vets while I was driving, and I was booting it, Don. I was driving down the 400 highway at like 160 plus. And I didn't even care if the cops stopped me. It'd be an emergency, you know what I mean? And we went and I picked her up. Actually, the what was it? The Huronia Pet Hospital. They saw my truck race in, and they came out with like the stroller thing, and I picked her up. And Molly was a big girl, Don. Molly was 96 pounds. So, I mean, it was like 20 minutes they had her in there, and then the woman came out and just told me that she's she's passed. And then I just broke down right there. And it was losing Molly was probably the hardest thing that we've had to go through at the farm so far. Very tough. It's just sad. I mean, I miss her a lot. Olive reminds me of her a lot too. It's just her mannerisms and stuff, but God, it happened. Yeah, that video ripped our hearts out, Scott says. It was tough. It was tough to even make the video. And I mean, Molly had passed away, and I didn't make any videos for, I think it was a week and a half. Because I'm like, I can't make a video right now. I'm crying like crazy every day. I didn't go to work. I didn't make any videos. All I did was bare bones on the farm. I was like a broken man when that happened. I had never experienced that in my life, Scott. You know, like my mom passed away. My mom passed away at I think she was 59 years old, and she wasn't well. She, like she had liver problems. She had some other ailments, and us family, we kind of expected it. Like we knew it was going to come soon. So when it happened, it's like, I don't want to say you're ready, but it's almost like you're ready for it to happen. And whereas Molly was just abrupt, shocking to your system. John Paul Sandoval says, do you make your own custom rat traps? I noticed they don't really sell rat traps that'll kill Lord Rat. They do sell rat traps, John Paul. Is it just John or John Paul? But they do sell rat traps. So the little snap, you peel it back, you put some bait in there, and when the rat touches the thing, it snaps. I've caught probably 50 or 60, 70 rats with that thing. I've lost count. And the best bait so far is chicken scratch, like the grain. I just pour a little bit of grain there, and I pretty well catch rats every couple days. The thing with rats, though, is that they're very smart, and you got to keep repositioning the traps, and you have to wash the traps. You can't catch a rat and then throw the rat and then set the trap again. You're not going to catch another rat in that trap because they can smell the death on that trap. So I have a little brush, and I use like Palmolive dish soap, and I kind of wash the trap just to disguise that. Yeah, Izzy on the move. I hope the rats froze. I mean, I actually was at the farm squirting them again today, and it was so windy, like, Izzy, I'm squirting with the water. You think the water is going to go straight out. The water was going like this because it was so windy today. But yeah, I'm hopeful, at least, even if they don't die, I'm hopeful that if I continually do it, they'll just find another place to live. But the past couple times that I've soaked the rats in the chicken house, I have not seen any rats. So maybe it's time that I kind of disturb the soil and kind of fill in some of those holes, because I don't think there's any rats nesting or living in the chicken house. They've moved on to the turkey house, because I was doing it today, and there must have been 5 or 6 rats that came out, and I soaked them all, and they all went into the snow, and I don't know where they go. They tunnel into the snow. But so I don't really know if it's working, but I'm hopeful. Anyway, I mean, we'll see how long the hose can go, The tunnels are not frozen. Jules Verne. Sure, Jules Verne. Is that your name, or you just made that up? Jules Verne. Anyways, no, it's like the earth is not frozen enough to have the water freeze in the tunnels. And we have very sandy soil here on the property, so you could fill up a hole and fill it up with water, and within 2 minutes, the water's drained. So you'd think that, okay, if you fill up all the tunnels with water, after like an hour, it's going to be frozen, but it doesn't. The water drains faster than what it can freeze. But what do you think, guys? We're at 2 hours and 30 minutes, and it's like 10 p.m. I think 2 hours and 30 minutes is a good time to call it quits. I don't even know how to call it quits. What do I do? Oh, you just click end stream. Okay. Let me think. I don't know if I'll go live again before Christmas. But I do wish you all Merry Christmas. But if I go live again, because I do have a video coming out. We have a video coming out tomorrow, Monday. Is it tomorrow? Monday. We have a video coming out Monday. And then I have a video coming out Thursday, which is Christmas Day, but it's my regular Thursday. So I filmed already. I haven't edited it yet. I was going to edit it tonight. And then I said, oh, maybe I'll just do the live stream, I can edit it tomorrow. So, yeah. So there is a video on Thursday, but maybe I can do a live before then again. Don't forget, too, it's winter now. It's easier to do lives in winter, especially here at home in my office, because there's not much going on. It's not like I'm building until 9 o'clock at night. But yeah, I do think I see all the comments coming in. Everybody's saying great job. Thanks for doing the live and all that. So I appreciate everybody watching. There's still 323 people here. I think the most we got up to was 400 something, but there's 514 likes. So can you double like something? How does that work? Does that mean at one point we had 514 people in here? It's a good question. But yeah, so Merry Christmas. If I don't do a live before then, I'll see you in the comments. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year to everybody. And if you don't celebrate Christmas, happy holidays, whatever holiday you're celebrating. And I think tonight's live stream went really well. Yeah. I think Scott said there's a way to just turn it into a video. So I'm sure it'll happen. And then if anybody, I guess, who's really interested in the channel, you can always watch the live stream back as a video. And hopefully I didn't make a fool of myself too much. I feel like a fool when I'm talking into the camera. I can tell you, I feel odd. I feel different than when I'm at the farm talking to the camera. At home, I feel different here. But not different in like a bad way. But maybe for the first couple of lives that I do, I'll not really have specific topics to talk about, maybe just a get to know chit chat like what we did tonight. I think it was good. I enjoyed myself. I don't put it this way. I don't think this live stream tonight has deterred me from doing more live streams, right? Like I feel like I enjoyed myself too. So that's cool. And everybody's saying I did great. So I appreciate that. That's good. The lighting's good in here from what I can tell. The camera's good. Audio's good. And I don't hear the audio. Like all this talking, I just hear my voice. I don't hear the audio. So I guess I'll hear the audio when I watch the video back, when it gets converted into a video. Anyways, hope you all had fun. I'm going to end the live stream here. You guys all have a good night. Sleep tight, okay? Tulu gana, everybody. Bye.